Welcome back to the Literary Lori YouTube channel. I'm Literary Lori. You guys, I've been doing this all wrong. Let's talk about it. All right, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lori L. Tharps. I am a traditionally published author who started a YouTube channel, this YouTube channel, because I wanted to document my journey going from being a full-time journalism professor, journalist, and nonfiction writer in the United States to being a full-time novelist of juicy book club fiction based in the south of Spain. So I had the whole thing planned out. I quit my job in academia, packed up my things, packed up my family, and moved to the south of Spain where I was going to, start this illustrious global literary life and be a full-time novelist. But that's not exactly what happened. So essentially, because we moved to the south of Spain in 2021 in the middle of the pandemic, a lot of things were still shut down. There weren't people gathering in places. And somehow, maybe because of the panic of the pandemic, I panicked. Just to be honest, let's just get to the point. I panicked and thought, oh my goodness, I can't focus on creative writing. I better, find some source of income, start a business or something. So long story short, I spent like the first 18 months of my time here in Spain, not focusing on my writing, but focusing on launching a full ass business. Yes, don't even make me get into it because I'm not going to. But essentially, I was just like still in that hustle mentality and spent, like I said, almost 18 months working on a business because I thought that we would, die of hunger or something if I didn't have, quote unquote, a real job and was going to still just keep writing fiction on the side. Thankfully, one of my good writing friends reminded me. She was like, didn't you move to Spain so you could be a novelist? And I was like, yeah, but And after that conversation, I had to have a come to Jesus moment where I essentially told myself that I had completely upended my life, moved my kids across the world. I had to be, I had to focus on the writing after doing all of this. So that's what I did. So over the next 3 years, more or less, I rewrote a manuscript that I have been working on literally for a decade, a novel that I'm really excited about. I rewrote the manuscript I updated a manuscript for a YA novel that was literally languishing in the, the basement of an editor who had forgotten all about it. And I wrote a whole new novel. So all in all, I wrote about 3 novels in the last 3 years, or, wrote or rewrote 3 novels. So that's good. That wasn't a mistake. So where did the mistake happen? I'm going to tell you. The mistake happened in that now, at this point, everything that I have written that was ready to be kind of sent out somewhere, whether it was to beta readers, to my agent, it's been done. It's out there. And what am I doing? Waiting. I'm waiting. And it is the worst waiting ever. I am like furiously checking my emails, just waiting for something to happen. And anybody who knows anything about the publishing industry knows that waiting is part of the writing game. Now, rather than sitting around biting my fingernails, being desperate, trying to figure out when something is going to happen, when somebody's going to give me their comments back, when I'm going to get word back from my agent about what she thinks we should do next, blah, 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 I should be busy being a good global literary citizen. That's the part where I messed up. That's what I forgot to do, was to remember that being a writer also requires that you are a good global citizen. And let me just clarify, it doesn't require. I know historically and even today, there are writers who do nothing but write and they are successful. But for the average writer, it requires a second half of your workload is being a good global literary citizen. And I think, being a good global literary citizen, it just puts good karma out in the air, if nothing else. But specifically, you need to do these things. You need to be a good global literary citizen because it will help you help you establish your career as an author. Now, girls, I know this. So why have I not done it? I don't know. I can blame it on the pandemic because when we got here, like the city was still kind of shut down. People weren't gathering. My mind was not on being external. My mind was on, well, you might as well just hunker down in your, in your quarantine space and get to work. And I did. But now that I'm in the waiting game, I realize what a mistake I've made. Writers or authors, we need a few things that are really necessary to have a good literary life. We need writers. We need fellow writers to be in community with. We need readers to read our work. Duh. We need booksellers to know about our work and to be able to hand sell our work for us. And we need the greater literary community to be aware that we exist so that we can be considered to be for opportunities like for book festivals or conferences and things like that. So, friends, now I have to play catch up. And not that I mind, because this stuff is really fun, but I wanted to share with you what I'm doing to be a good global literary citizen so that when my books do pop off, I'm not starting from scratch, building up people's awareness of me and my work. So here's what I'm doing. Step 1. I actually applied already to join the Writers Collective of my city here in Spain. Now, this is a community of writers based in Spain. They're all Spanish writers, but this is my new community. And I want to be aware of what's happening here kind of locally for the writing community. There are often a lot of book festivals here. There are street fairs. There are, opportunities to collaborate with libraries and bookstores. The way that you find out about those things is to be in community with fellow local writers. So I am applying to be a member of the Writers Collective in my city. Turns out I already, reached out, but I have to wait until May to put in my application formally, but I'll let you know if I get accepted. And I'm super excited about that because, again, I want to be a part of the local Spanish writer community, but also it's another opportunity for me to practice my Spanish. All right, number 2, writers need readers. Where am I in community with fellow readers? I'm not. So I started a book club. We're going to be reading for our first book. It's a book club where we eat brunch, talk about books by BIPOC authors. Very Lori. And so we're going to have our first gathering and we're going to talk about Chimamanda Adichie's Dream Count. And really, I started this book club because I read Dream Count and I want to talk about it. Oh my goodness. Talk about it with other people. But also I realized, hey, I'm not in community with any readers. Thank goodness there are so many expats in Spain that I know that I can find people who would be the readers of my work right here in my local city. So creating a community of readers who like to read the same things that I like to write and read is a great opportunity for me to be in community and to be of service to the people who I hope one day would be reading my books. That's important to be in community. If you're a writer, to be in reading communities so that you can be aware of what people like, what they don't like, and also, again, to be of service because ideally these will be your future readers, your future audiences as well. All right, number 3. I need to get in touch with booksellers and be aware of who are the booksellers in my local community. Do I go to bookstores now? Of course I do. I am always in the bookstores, but I'm kind of like a lurker. I haven't made myself a known entity. I don't know who the bookstore owners are. I don't know who the buyers are. I don't know who the event planners are. I've barely gone to any book events since I've been here. I've kept using the excuse that my Spanish isn't good enough. I wouldn't enjoy a book event. I mean, I have been to like 1 or 2, but I haven't really been proactive about participating in the bookstore culture here. Now, there is going to be the global bookstore crawl that takes place on the week of National Independent Bookstore Day. So I will participate in that, and I'm making an effort to get to know the owners of the bookstores and also to start attending bookstore events so that, again, I become a known entity at these bookstores that I hope when my books do come out here that they'll be aware of who I am and they'll be more likely to stock my book on the English language shelves. And again, maybe my book will be translated into Spanish. I don't know, but I do know that I need to be, again, in conversation with the bookstore owners and the people who work at the bookstores. All right. And last but not least, I realized that, again, because I now live on this side of the Atlantic Ocean, even though if my books do get published, I hope they get published in the United States or that they're available in the United States, and I most likely would do a book tour in the United States. Books don't just get sold in the first 6 weeks after they come out when you do a book tour. A book is a long tail sales item. People could find out about your book 2, 3, 4, 5 years after it came out. So I want to make sure that I have an audience on this side of the Atlantic Ocean. So in other words, I want to be doing book events in Europe so that I could do something 2 years from now. I don't want to fly over to the US for like a weekend event. I want to make sure that the events, the book events and literary festivals that happen in Europe, they know who I am. And how does that happen? By attending these book events and festivals. So now, rather than just thinking casually like, oh, maybe I'll go here, I'll go there, I started looking at the upcoming festivals in Europe where you have English language books are featured, and I'm really being proactive about putting them on my calendar. I most definitely will return to the Black British Book Festival when it happens because it is the largest Black book festival in Europe. And it's new to me. There's a book festival in Spain, in Gibraltar, that is an English language book festival. Clearly, I should be going to that. So thinking about how people learn about books on a bigger scale, conferences, book festivals. If I don't become a known entity at these events, then I can't expect anybody to perhaps pick up my books when they come out. Now, again, this all sounds like a whole lot of fun. I love book festivals and book conferences, but I haven't been thinking about it strategically. I haven't been thinking about what I can do in service to participate in these events. Not only is going, good for me to meet people and things like that, but it's also great for me to support other writers. When I go to the bookstores, for example, buying books from them helps the bookstores stay solvent. And I want bookstores to stay solvent. I want them to be vibrant parts of the community. Going to events, going to book events, it's not just fun. It's not just about networking. It's, paying the ticket to go if there's a pick ticket price, purchasing books while I'm there so that these festivals continue to be able to run. So that's what I realized that I have been missing in this building my new full-time author life. The writing is there, that's solid. But the other half of that, becoming a good global literary citizen, I wasn't doing it, but I'm doing it now. I have my plan in place. I bought a new notebook to keep track of all of this because I'm a little bit of a notebook lover, an addict. Anytime I can buy a new notebook, I will. Please tell me I'm not the only one. Anyway, now I have my plan in place. Now I know what I'm going to do. I will keep checking in and sharing how my plan to become a good global literary citizen is going in an upcoming video. All right, I hope that hearing how I failed in my efforts to be a full-time author by ignoring the part about being a good global literary citizen inspires some of you to think about how are you being a good literary citizen in your community. All right, I'll see you all in the next video. Keep reading, keep writing, and keep being great global literary citizens. Bye.